Hey, it's Lindy Chapman with 180 Relocation and Relo Talk, and I am excited to have Staci Steidley with me today, who is the owner and lead designer at Studio Steidley here in Dallas, Fort Worth. Staci, thanks for being here.
So good to be here, Lindy.
Well, it's so fun to talk with the owners of a home. For those of you who are watching this, we are helping Staci and her husband Wally sell their home that they lovingly designed for their own use while they were building another home. And it's so fun for me, as somebody who has bought and sold a dozen times, to know the story behind the house. And this one in particular is fun because Staci and her team do such exceptional work designing homes throughout Dallas, Fort Worth. And they took this home and did something really special with it in Plano. So we're going to be showing you pictures as we talk. But in the meantime, I just want to find out a little bit more about Staci and share what she does. I think her design team is brilliant. But tell me a little bit first about how you got started in the design business. When did you first know you had a talent for it?
Honestly, in 6th grade, I was asked to do a report over cathedrals actually, I got to choose, but I chose like cathedrals in France and in England. And I'm one of those weird people that loves like term papers and like research projects. And so by the time I finished with that little thing, as a 6th grader, I was like, I thought I wanted to do architecture. And I have been obsessed with how things are built, how things are designed, why things are created in the way that they're created ever since then. And did architecture classes in college, but ultimately interior design was what caught my heart. And I did commercial design for a while, and then I moved on when I started my own firm to residential design, which I absolutely love. And it's just one of those things that never gets old. It's so fun to not just get to design these spaces, but to work with these families and to create all of the dreams that they have, but don't know how to bring to fruition, to make that happen for them.
Yeah. Well, and you do a beautiful job of it. And I was so struck the first time I walked into your beautiful home in Plano, just to walk into a home and to find these finishes that you don't usually see in a home at the price point that it is. So let's talk about a little bit, and we'll flash some pictures up in too. But what was your inspiration behind this home's on Belmont Place?
Yes.
What was some of your inspiration behind doing this? And I'm going to just flip some pictures while we talk.
Well, originally we really wanted something that when somebody was there, they felt like it was very calming and serene, maybe reminiscent of a coastal type of design, but a little bit more refined for that. We live in Dallas and people expect something that feels more refined and a little more elegant. But I think that, you can see the reference to that coastal kind of spa kind of feeling there.
If you can tell us a little bit, I mean, you don't see this very often. It's kind of a new concept, having the bathtub in the shower.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about behind your design here, and even I love even just the whole bathroom picture. I mean, just I love your lighting, your mirrors, that brushed gold.
Thank you. I love this bathroom too, and I think it's one of the things that we really embrace in our team is taking something that could be deemed a challenge and turning it into an asset. And for us, in that bathroom was this skylight. So the skylight, we loved the natural light coming in, and it's perfect for a bathroom because you get all that, as a woman, you get beautiful light for your makeup, but you don't sacrifice any privacy. And so we didn't want to sacrifice that skylight. But because of the placement of that skylight, we were either, thinking, okay, it could be just ridiculously large shower, or we could take the opportunity and create a wet room. And that's what they call the space. And we've done them in
Yeah.
several other homes, but
Yeah.
I just loved this application of
Yeah.
it because not only were we able to have the skylight in the wet room, but we were able to incorporate behind the freestanding tub. We have this really beautiful ledge that
Mhm.
you can, there's like a plant resting against it, but it's really handy. Like when we were living there, I loved having that. If I was going to, take a bath, it was a great place for a glass of wine or
Yeah.
whatever else you might need, there. But the shower itself is just a huge and luxurious experience because we did incorporate that hand sprayer nozzle as well.
Mhm.
Um, and
You
and
put
the
the whole
wall
family
nozzle.
in there. You can get the dog in there. They can come in from the pool, you spray them off
Absolutely.
in their bathing suits, you're done for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I love that, and I love the idea of the skylight, and I saw the before pictures. I should have the before pictures up too, and I don't have those pulled up right now, but,
It was
really
scary.
amazing. It was scary. Really amazing and there's so many homes in Plano, right, that are like this, that have they've been lived in, and they've been lived in well and provided families well, but they were built back in the
Absolutely.
50s and 60s,
Yep.
and, but the one thing I do love about this bathroom, because I've seen this done. I want one of those bathtubs to replace my big jacuzzi tub so badly in our
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah.
And but you find these in $1 million, multi-million-dollar homes. You don't walk into a $600,000 home in Plano and expect to see this. And it's
Absolutely.
and the feedback we get every time when people walk in, whether they're opening kitchen doors or walk into this bathroom, is these are finishes that would be really hard to pay for if you were doing it yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was important to me, because I want to be proud of whatever we're putting out there. And even though this was a lower price point, than something we would typically do, I didn't wanna sacrifice on those things that for
Yeah.
me just are just basic things that should happen in like all that cabinetry has soft closed drawers and doors. I love the most houses like might just have an overhead vanity light here, but I think just these sconces add a real beauty, and just another texture to this space, which makes me
Mhm.
happy. And also, we were able to put so
Mhm.
much storage in this bathroom. I love the amount of
There are
storage.
so many cabinets, and I don't have a picture of the closet, unfortunately, loaded up either, but your huge walk-in closet that you created is amazing.
I couldn't believe like how big this closet was when we finally were able
Mhm.
to put the space planning to work and see what we had.
Yeah. The kitchen. I love the kitchen,
Sure.
and again, like you said, you didn't spare any expense when you did this. I mean, to have the soft most people when they do a flip, and any of the homes that you go into Plano and somebody's bought it and done a flip, they're not soft closed doors.
A lot of times it's the
Usually
original
I was
cabinets.
gonna say, usually it's the original cabinets and they've painted them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the kitchen. It's a great size. I love it's just a very easy flow, easy to get around. But tell me a little bit about the renovation here and things that you went through your head when you were doing this.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those plans where typical of the time that it was built, it was a closed off kitchen all on its own. And I think modern families just don't live that way.
Mhm,
And so that was one thing that it was a must have for me is that we install a beam so we can open up that kitchen to the rest of the living area.
mhm,
And I think that made a huge difference, not only in the way it felt, but also in the way it lives. The cabinetry, I you can see it in this picture. We extended it even into another little area to create this
mhm,
coffee beverage bar, and that's one of
yeah,
my favorite features in this house, and it's something
mm.
that we incorporated in our other house because I love the way it functions so well.
And
Because you have
again, so
different
much
spaces in there.
storage for a not a great big space, but so
Yeah.
much storage. And even the walk-in pantry is huge.
It's huge, it's huge. I
Yeah.
love a big walk-in pantry.
Mhm,
And we also did a lot of like, on the other side of that peninsula island, it's all drawers. And that's just a preference that every kitchen that I do as a
mhm.
reno, people want drawers. They don't want
Yeah.
lower doors. And so I feel like it really does help.
That's a great point.
And it's a
So,
little more expensive, but it's those little things I think that make a big difference.
but again, that's one of those things you don't expect to see this in, a neighborhood in Plano when you're, at this price point, and yet you've done it all in, including the open shelves and the little, what are the little lights or the sconces? But they,
I think I think kitchens should have lots of function and lots of storage, but they also need to have elements of home and
mm,
things that make it feel cute and just a little bit different from your neighbor's house.
yeah, no, it's got a lot of personality. Let's go on to the living room. And again, it's this open concept, which
Mhm.
everybody wants now. I love here. You can see the little built-in book niche that you did,
Yeah.
or niche, and then the way it opens onto where the dining room is, and then you've got that fabulous view of the pool. Was there
Yes.
a lot of work that needed to be done in this room as well?
Well, yes, because it was like kind of like a paneling type of
Mm,
application on all the walls. And so once we removed that wall between the living room and the kitchen, we also removed that paneling and we just did new texture and paint on the whole thing. And then, of course, new flooring throughout. And I also love the size of the space. I think that that sunroom that we're using as a dining room,
mhm.
my daughter, every time she would come over, she'd be like, "Mom, I would totally have this like as a playroom area because it's still with everybody else, but it's kind of hidden and
Yeah,
because it's."
no, very true.
Yeah, she loved the idea, like as a young family, of using this little area. It could be a playroom area.
And there's another room that you could use as the dining room if you didn't need the office. So it would be a
Exactly.
great room to have as a playroom for
Yeah,
sure.
I
It's
and
just
one
so
thing I
big
love.
and bright and cheerful.
Agreed, and I liked this floor plan because it offered flexibility in how you wanted to use it, and I love the
Mhm.
natural light. I love there's 4 skylights in this room, and again, the way that this
Mhm.
feels in the morning and just throughout the day as the light moves, it makes me happy. I just love being in a space that has that much natural
Yes.
light.
And this is the room that y'all used as a dining room sometimes, but then you also had it set up as an office,
Yep,
which is
yep,
great. It's when you first walk in. So it would be an easy room, multi-purposes, right? You could use it as either one. If you're,
absolutely.
yeah, if you're an empty nester and have grandkids, heck, you could build a bunk room in there. Whatever you
You
want it to be, it
could,
could be. It could,
you
and I
could.
know somebody that can build it. I have that on my wish list, a bunk room.
Yeah, I would love a bunk room. That would be so
The other thing
fun.
I love are the bedrooms. They're a nice size. The
Yep.
closets are a nice size. This is one of the bedrooms, and then this is the second bedroom. That's a Jack and Jill. Is there anything you want to share about it?
I just really loved again the way that it functions as a hall bath, but it also functions as an ensuite for that one guest area. And it's not
Hmm.
lacking in size. Sometimes when you have that separate room for the tub area, it can feel tiny, but this is really generous and it has a
Hmm.
beautiful linen closet incorporated. And I honestly I love the window that's in that as well. So
Hmm.
I there's a lot of things about this bathroom that I love, but one of the things I love the most is that it's a generous size. You have a nice vanity to work with. Your guests or your children who are in that bedroom have an actual bathroom that's straight off their bedroom. I think it's nice.
No, it is. And I love that floor. It makes me think. And then you've got the pool area.
Yeah.
You have the pool, the outdoor area. You've got a place to sit. I love your little patio area. The fence
Mhm.
is new.
I'd never had that kind of fence, and I love it. It's great because it's 0 maintenance. It's
Right.
light and bright, and it just adds, I think, another, dimension to the yard that's not your typical kind of wood fence.
And you don't have to paint it. So
Oh, it's amazing.
it is great. And then here's the aerial view. Again, you can see all these skylights, and
Mhm.
we've got a roof report showing that everything is in good shape. The front of the house is cute. I love the circular driveway in all these Plano homes where you've got that back entrance and the back alley
Yep.
driveway. To have a circular drive in the front yards for extra cars, or when you're coming in with groceries, or you don't want to fool with going through the alley, or you have a big party. That is such
I
a
love
nice
it.
feature.
And one thing I
Yeah.
think that we forget about, in Texas, a lot of our homes do have an entry from the garage, and most people experience their house from their garage every day.
Mhm.
And, I loved the fact that we were actually going through the front door.
Yeah.
If we parked in the front, we were entering our house through the front door, and it felt like a welcoming experience. And I
It's
think people
coming in
just
from the
forget
garage
about that.
isn't very welcoming, yeah, and then but you don't wanna have to park on the street, so that's a
Right.
huge value to have
Oh,
that
it's great. And then
that
you have
circular
tons of
drive.
parking because I think that
Mhm,
the pad in the back with the garage has an
mhm.
extra width on it too. So we could park through. I think there was a little bit of extra space there if you needed to fit a little bit of extra something back there too.
Well, and there's no HOA, and there's that little extra space on the right, so if you had a boat
Exactly.
or a camper or something, you could absolutely put it there. So,
Absolutely.
not gonna be able
Yeah.
to do that in an HOA. And this is the aerial view. Tell me a little bit about what you loved about living in this area.
Oh my goodness. We loved living in this area. Partly just the location is central to everything. And because it's a established neighborhood, you've got these beautiful tall trees, which you can see in all those other pictures.
Mhm,
But we would walk all the time, and we would walk not just to the elementary school is like a block away,
yeah, which
but
is right here. This is the bird's eye view of that, and it's just
oh
yeah, your
yeah,
kids can walk to school.
you can. It's a
Mhm,
great elementary school,
mhm,
and we would walk over there. We'd walk if you go north a couple blocks, you're in the whole Beltline Parkway. I don't remember what it's called, but we would walk for miles
mhm,
along that area.
mhm, yeah.
And the pool is over there. There's, I mean, not only is it close to that type of thing, but we're 5-10 minutes away from all those Park Preston restaurant shopping. Um, it was a little dangerous, I'll admit, because we were very close to all those really nice restaurants that I'm like, yes, let's go there tonight.
Right? No, that there are so many great places to go eat and shop around there for sure, and it's so centrally located. I like that. It's over on the west side of Plano.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the challenges of I bought an older home. We've been working on it for 3 years. What are some of the challenges of buying an older home? If this isn't your job, this isn't something you do as a living and have
True.
those contractors, were there any surprises to you or what were the challenges that you found?
I think in the beginning, we were looking for something that may just needed a little cosmetic refresh, but just these homes weren't built for
Mhm,
today's family in mind. They didn't have the storage that we needed. They didn't have the closet space or the open floor plan. And so that was something that I felt like it was a challenge. And we were happy to
mhm,
take it on. But I think just an average homeowner might have a hard time seeing some of the possibilities within those homes. And then even if there are the possibilities, you got to tackle it. You've got to be
mhm.
willing to go through all of that. And it always takes longer than you want. It's always more expensive than you want. And we wanted to do it right. So everything went through all the inspections process. And that's a whole nother learning experience too.
Yeah, well, getting the city of Plano to sign off on everything, and I don't know that everybody
Everything.
al well, I know everybody doesn't always do that because we have followed up to make sure that that's been done and have seen times that
Yeah.
that hasn't been done. Do you have an estimate, any idea, like, what it would cost for somebody? I know you had a lot of things that you were able to do at cost, you didn't
Yeah.
have to pay your design services, but if somebody was going to do what you did, and you were
Yeah.
gonna give them a price for the design, the build, and everything, what are we looking at?
Well, I'll just give, not just for Belmont, but just the market in general,
Mhm,
because we're in this all the time. And some of this is just that we're in post-COVID pricing, and the
mm,
the
yeah,
demand for construction and people that do this type of work is very high in Dallas. And so in this realm, you get what you pay for. And so I would just say if anybody was tackling these kind of things, really do your homework. But for
mhm,
something like Belmont, you're not going to be able to do like if you were going to try and create that kitchen, or even most of the kitchens, you're not going to be able to do it for less than 65 or 75. And that's not using fancy materials. That like medium level product,
mhm,
and a nice cabinetry and nice quartz countertops.
yeah.
So that's
Mm.
that's pricey. And bathrooms,
I
it's
was gonna
very
say, what about this bathroom? If I was going to call you and go, "Stacy, redo my
yeah.
bathroom and make it look like this," can you give me just a ballpark idea
I mean,
of what
it's going to
that's
be 50 or 60.
okay.
And some of that's depending on how big that bathroom is, but I'm really not exaggerating. Like that
Right.
is what it's just costing right now in the area.
Yeah.
Um, and to do, new floors throughout, even if you're doing, this luxury vinyl plank, which we love, you're still looking at, for an average house of about 2,600 square feet, it's about 15 grand.
And under the ticker here, all the different upgrades that you included, and there were so many things that you did do, and I think that's where the value. I mean, we even have it appraised at higher than we have it listed,
Yeah.
because you really couldn't afford to, to do so many of these things in a house. And so that is the real opportunity for a buyer here, is to come in and get this and
Yeah.
not buy a $400,000 or $500,000 house and then put this kind of
Mhm.
money in it. Not only is that time, you can't even build it into your mortgage. You would have to take out, either use cash or you'd have to take out another
Absolutely.
loan. This is done. It's truly move-in ready, and it is stunning. It's just it is a happy home. It feels really good when you go in there. So
Well, thanks.
um,
I do love it, and I think it has great vibes.
it does have great vibes. It absolutely does. So, well, thanks so much for sharing about that. And again, if anybody is interested, it's 2516 Belmont Place in Plano. Love to set up an appointment for you to see. Would love to connect you with Stacy to tell you more about it. But it is a great house, and I don't think it's going to last very long. Anything else you want to share?
I mean, I think we covered it,
We
Lindy.
covered it. And you need a good designer, you like those finishes, definitely get in touch with Staci Steidley and her
Yeah.
design team at Studio Steidley. They do a phenomenal job. I've really enjoyed. Go to their website, look at some of the things that they've done. And you can have your own little mini Steadley in the heart of Plano if you are looking for a 3-bedroom home with an office. Definitely don't overlook this one, because you couldn't recreate it at the cost that we have it listed. So,
For sure.
well, thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Lindy.